Hello everyone, I'm Squallcasting, and I've got some more StarCraft 2 for you. In this particular game, we do have Evil Genius as Thorzain. He joined Team EG quite recently. He is a Swedish player known as the Spoon Terran for his very patient play in which he basically kills his opponent as slowly as he possibly can. And his opponent down here is Sase. He is also Swedish. He played Warcraft 3 professionally in China prior to his SC2 career. And other than that, I don't really know too much about him other than the fact that he is on Team Quantic. I don't know of any like huge tournament wins for him, whereas Thorzain has had a number. So, but both very good players as they are playing together at the Red Bull LAN. This replay was taken from the Red Bull LAN replay pack, so a big thanks to them for providing it to the community, and also thanks to them for just, you know, having a LAN tournament of a whole bunch of really good players playing against each other, so we can see awesome games. So yeah, so we do have a TVP here. Sase is scouting out now with his probe, so he'll be able to see what's up. Thorzain has chosen not to scout at all. I seem to recall this is something he does. He just won't really scout because he feels like his opening builds are generally safe against pretty much anything. He isn't walling in, just choosing to make his barracks really close to his command center so that way he can be as economical as possible. Get that SCV back to mining as quickly as he possibly can. He has not taken any gas yet, so I think we're definitely going to see the 1-Rax gasless FE, especially with the way he's letting those minerals build up. And yep, sending the SCV down. And we'll start that, well, in a bit. Okay, maybe this one's just a scout. He did start his orbital, so his expansion command center won't be going down quite yet, but wouldn't be too surprised to see it pretty soon after. But Sase, channeling his inner PVZ, is going to block where the command center will go, and so instead Thorzain just starts it right there. He'll have to lift it up and reposition it later, but not a big deal. And the Marine arrives in time to save the SCV. And Thorzain is scouting, but pretty darn delayed. But he will be able to see all the essentials. There are 2 gases, there's a gateway, and a cyber core. So not any kind of crazy 2-gate, no cyber core, zealot all in, which I don't think even exists. Maybe at the Bronze League, I don't know. Anyways, and wow, looks like Thorzain's doing the same thing, potentially going to try to block and expand. Now, Sase hasn't saved up any minerals, so yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to expand, but it looks like Thorzain just wanted to be ready just in case he was trying to expand, and then just delayed a bit. So both players just kind of doing the little things that can make a big difference over the course of a game. Always very fun to see. Those 2 Marines are going to be able to pick off that probe. Doesn't react in time, and there it goes. This Marine does now have a kill to his name. He can paint a probe silhouette onto his armband. I don't know if Marines do that. Like, that's I'm pretty sure that's a piloting thing. If you're a military pilot and you shoot down an enemy craft, you paint a silhouette of the craft you shot down onto your plane. And yeah, that bunkers up will repel the stalker. But Sase, with good control, pulls the stalker back before it takes any hull damage, and it will be able to regenerate all those shields. No harm, no foul. And Thorzain finally moving that command center over. It looks like he wanted to get the orbital going just as quickly as possible, and that's a good idea. The sooner you get it up, the more mules you get over the course of your game. And Thorzain just finishing up a reactor on his barracks, getting a tech lab, getting stim. And Sase is expanding himself, is going to finish up quite shortly, so he will be a little bit economically behind, but not crazily so. And already taking a gas there, so 3 gases already. That does seem indicative of Colossi tech to me. I do seem to recall that 3 gas is what players will typically go for. And yep, there's the Robo facility. So I would not be too terribly surprised to see him transition into just a standard Colossi gateway death ball of doom and pain bringing. And look at this, Thorzain looks like he might want to expand again. Or this is potentially to check for pylons. Although I would think he would do that with a Marine, so it seems to me like he wants to expand. Oh, no, he's just got that rallied around. Okay, I guess he's just checking. Wants to keep his entire army there to defend against any kind of aggression. Wants to remain safe. Okay, so we do have a Twilight Council coming as well. So, not going to go to Colossi Tech immediately, but perhaps wants to get Blink or something like that, so he has those additional micro options. And Thorzain is getting a starport up. He's got his factory now. Reactor's going down now, so he will be able to transfer the starport over very shortly after it finishes and get double medevac production rolling. And Sase for now just getting a single observer out, and looks like he might just scouting. Looks like he's positioning that probe just to keep an eye on things in case an attack comes from there, and then maybe expand there later. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that. And Thorzain, wow, moving this SCV all over the map. Yeah, I guess he's really worried about pylons, or he's just timing it up for a scout on the 3rd. In any case, and yeah, there goes the starport. Just continuing to produce Marines and Marauders. And what's this? A Warp Prism and a Dark Shrine? Oh, Sase, you sneaky person. Fooling me, making me think you were going Colossi, but nope, you're going to do a Warp Prism Dark Templar Warp in. That's pretty cool. And also getting Charge as well, so that way his main army isn't totally gimped. But, well, we'll see how this works out. And what's he picking up? 2 Zealots? Okay. It would have been nice to have seen him grab some sentries and potentially force field this ramp. But, for now, just grabbing some Zealots. Observer spots Thorzain's army moving out. Don't know if Thorzain wants to attack. He does have his first 2 medevacs, and that usually is an attack timing. As medevacs just increase the effectiveness of a bio ball by so incredibly much. But Sase has really nice timing, and he's going to drop in with this Warp Prism literally right as Thorzain's army moves out. And he's going to have to rally units back to try to deal with that. So here we go. Zealots working away at the Expansion Command Center. Dark Templar is harassing the units here, cutting apart Marines, one-shotting them actually. That's kind of crazy. Does get 2. The scan does pick it off. And yeah, just has a Dark Templar mixed into his main army. These Zealots still doing damage in the main, and a single Dark Templar getting in, cutting everything apart, killing the Marines as they come out, and going to work on SCVs as well. So Thorzain in a rough spot, but he has attacked in, and some good force fields pinning his army in place. And I don't think Thorzain is going to be able to do too terribly much with this, especially as charge lots are pretty darn good against bio. He's doing what he can, but has to pick up and run away, and his main base is still getting ravaged. Oh man, this is so rough for Thorzain, and just absolutely impeccable timing by Sase, knowing when those medevacs are going to be coming out, and timing his drop play perfectly with that, and then also having the Dark Templars there just to support and pick off units. He does lose the Observer, but that's not too much of a problem, seeing as he has units in the base. Now, Thorzain is fighting back now. He does have a small force now and lots of SCVs to support, but he's going to lose so much economy dealing with this that even if he manages to force this off, he's going to be so far behind. Let's take a look at the worker counts. Yeah, Thorzain down to 31 SCVs to 44 probes. And Sase is just still warping units in. Has an Archon morphing somewhere. I don't even know where. But it doesn't matter because this is where the action is. The main base is dying. The supply depot doesn't quite die, but almost. And it looks like Thorzain will just barely have enough to push this back. Sase is still trying to be aggressive with this, but I feel like this is the time when he needs to fall back. You know, he has taken a significant lead here. And you don't want to continue throwing away units, but okay, still going for it. Warping in a Dark Templar literally right next to the Warp Prism. And, oh, the Warp Prism just barely gets away. Wow, very nice. He does unload the Stalkers just in case it was going to die. And these Dark Templar are still wreaking havoc in the main base. Let's take a look at the worker counts. 30 SCVs to 46 probes now. And Thorzain will want to repair that factory, otherwise it's going to eventually burn to death. But Thorzain just really showing that he is a good player because, well, he just held off something I thought might have been straight up game ending. But just holding his SCVs back just long enough to get just enough units to then push forward and finish off the attack. But Sase is very nicely saturated as main and as natural. Third is going up now. I would have liked to have seen him take this a little bit earlier during all that aggression. Maybe warp in a few less units. Because he was kind of reaching that point where he wasn't really trading efficiently anymore. And, you know, when you're attacking is always a good time to expand. Because the enemy is at his base defending. He's not going to be, you know, in all likelihood he will not be out there trying to snipe off bases. So... And Sase did manage to get that warp prism away, so he will be able to make use of that later on in the game. And Thorzain moving out a bunch of units. I don't think he wants to attack at this point. I think he's just going to camp at the watchtowers, as this would be a pretty terrible time to try attacking. But maybe he feels like these are the this is the A-team army here, 2 Marines and a Marauder, and they'll just be able to destroy everything. They will create a tank here, and it will have multiple gun holes. They will all go inside the tank and fire out of it. Or there's just a drop in the back base. Oh, wow. Unpowering 3 gateways and that Dark Shrine. And feedbacks going off on the medevacs, not quite killing them. But they're running away, and there are more stalkers warping in to cut off their escape. Thorzain has to drop his units to save the medevacs, but eventually losing all the units and the medevac too. Not the best drop in the world for him. Does manage to empower those gateways, but that's about all he accomplished. And Sase responded to that very nicely. And Warp Prism came in, but didn't get anything done. Instead, it just died. So let's take a look at the worker counts again. Wow, Thorzain managed to come back very, very nicely. And is now even with Sase on workers. His army still feels small-ish to me. Only 12 Marines and 5 Marauders. Just lost a bunch, apparently. I don't know how that happened. And then 3 medevacs, compared to 13 Zealots, Dark Templar, 2 Archons, 2 Stalkers, 3 Sentries, and a High Templar. Sase going for the one of everything, I guess. I was looking for a better analogy, like some sort of saying that would encapsulate it, but it wasn't coming to me, so... Just has a very diverse force, and just now getting a Robo Bay. So we'll transition into Colossi. Thorzain, I don't think he even has a Ghost... Oh, or no, but never mind. He does have a Ghost Academy. So he did get that in response to the Templar. I don't know if... Oh, another drop here. Oh, wow. Probe's trying to fight it off, but losing a lot of them in the process. So Thorzain just doing absolutely great harassment, but might lose his medevac. Do these stalkers have blink? No, they don't, but there is a feedback, which kills the medevac instantly. So Thorzain trying really hard to harass and kind of crawl his way back into things, and I feel he's stabilized pretty decently. Sase is up a base, but this command center is finishing just now. But I don't know if Thorzain has enough to really deal with this, and Sase seems to know the third is about to land here because he's ready to greet it. And what does Thorzain have? Let's take a look at the unit counts. Just not a lot of stuff. But that said, if Sase tries to push into here with all these supply depots, Thorzain could potentially bottleneck him very nicely and kill a lot of units and trade very, very efficiently. So hopefully Sase just holds back. He knows he's got a lead, and you don't want to throw away a lead. And this is just an incredibly entrenched position for Thorzain. 4 bunkers. Not all of them are even filled. And throwing up more supply depots. And this is actually a way to trick your opponent. If they scout forward and see this many bunkers, and they all appear to have units in them, but you just have 1 or 2 Marines apiece, it can look like your defense is stronger than it actually is. So, but Thorzain feels like he can move out now, and his Bioforce has gotten fairly beefed, I would say. He does have 2-2 now against the 2-1, and some EMPs going down, burning a lot of sentry energy and shields. Not getting all the sentries, but most of them. Only this one has energy left, yeah. And, yeah, Thorzain lands this base, gets that PF going, wants it to stay safe. And I like that Sase has more than 1 observer out on the map. This lets him keep an eye on things much more effectively. And since it's holding still, Thorzain's never going to see that. Unless he happens to make a missile turret right here. He's never going to know that observer's there. Unless he makes a Raven at some point. I would love to see that. Ravens are the one Terran unit that I really want to see more of. I'm not necessarily thinking like 20 Ravens, as that's not too terribly viable. But even 3 or 4, I feel are pretty good. And Yeah, this is coming from a Diamond player. I'm not Grandmasters or anything like that, so I can't really comment too much on their overall viability. But I feel they've just got a lot of good spells, and depending on what your opponent's going for, they can help out a lot. But we'll see what happens. Got a couple pylons scattered across the map, so could be Sase wants those just to keep an eye out for drops and also serve as potential warp-in points. He did warp in a single Dark Templar to kill that Marine that was trying to kill the pylon, and now is running the Dark Templar away, and that pylon will go down, but that was a little bit cute. Got a single kill and gets a unit that he can then pull out and potentially morph into an Archon later. And I think we do have some Colossi out now. Yep, we do have one Colossi mixed in with some Archons, and this is a pretty beefy force. I would like to see him add on 2 or 3 more Colossi before he does any sort of attack. Oh, there they are. They already existed. I just didn't know they were there. But yeah, Thorzain is stabilized quite nicely. He does have that 3rd up now. He is still significantly behind on supply, and I'm hoping he doesn't throw away this entire army, which it looks like that's what's going to happen. He does stim, looking for some EMPs. There go a few, but there are 3 Colossi, and yeah, he knew it was over. He knew he couldn't afford to lose that army in that position with that many Colossi. And even if he'd stayed in the game, he would have lost this entire army without really accomplishing much. At that point, Sase would have marched forward and just absolutely obliterated everything. So very nicely played by Sase, just having impeccable timing, really. That Warp Prism coming in at just the right moment when Thorzain was moving out with his first 2 medevacs, that just really speaks to Sase's knowledge of timings, and then just kind of figuring out the metagame. Okay, Terrans usually move out when they get their first 2 medevacs, so I'm going to make a Warp Prism, I'm going to load up with some Zealots, and I'm going to drop into his base and get Dark Templar in there while he's, over here about to hit my base. And then I'll have a charge lot sentry army, a pretty lean army. I can force field to pin his units back and then basically ravage his base. And Thorzain tried really hard to come back from it with a lot of drops and a lot of things of that nature, but just wasn't quite able to crawl his way back. Now this is a, I believe it's a best of 3. So the other replays are hidden somewhere. I don't even know if this was the first game. Not all the replays were titled appropriately. So this could have been game 3, and that was part of why he was fighting so very hard. I have no idea. But I'm going to go cast the other games because this game is pretty darn awesome. So thank you guys for watching my cast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe and leave comments in the comments section below. I would really, really love to get more feedback, as I've gotten, I think, like 6 or 7 comments total across 60 videos so far. So please leave comments. Let me know what you like about my casting. Let me know what you think I could improve. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.